Grab all your loved ones and escape while you can. The media is once again warning that the Trump apocalypse is upon us after the Supreme Court announced that it will hear the former president's immunity case.
The cravenness of the court is evident in what they are doing with the pacing here.
It is frustrating to me that the idea that the U.S. Supreme Court is going to be delaying this trial.
It's a bad look for them.
Yeah.
It's a very, to have taken this.
It is an unmistakable sign from the MAGA majority of the Trump-created court that they are with him.
There is a lot tonight to be pessimistic about.
Some of the justices simply want to assist Donald Trump in delaying the resolution of this case in the hope of pushing his trial off past the election.
And I am beyond terrified, Nicole, right now for our country.
We can't put all of our hopes in the Supreme Court. The people need to be engaged and aroused at this point to demand that there be justice.
Engaged and aroused. All right. Anyway, roll back. Don't worry about them. The media found another way to get engaged and aroused last night after a radical judge kicked Trump off the ballot in Illinois. Cook County Judge Tracy Porter, whose previous expertise was being a traffic judge, like you, Jesse, ruling that the Don can't appear on the state's ballot, citing the 14th Amendment's insurrectionist ban, and relying on the Colorado Supreme Court's decision as precedent. Katie, why is the media so upset about this? Is it because it ruins the timing?
Yeah, I mean, they claim this is all about saving democracy, protecting voters, saving America, but they just expose themselves because if they actually cared about that, they wouldn't care when the trial might be. They just would agree that the Supreme Court should take up the immunity question to see if President Trump qualifies. Instead, they're very upset that this may delay the trial, which means they're just, again, admitting that this is really about trying to convict him before the election because polling shows if he were convicted that people wouldn't vote for him. So they just expose themselves again, showing that this is all about political games and that they're trying to take down Biden's top political opponent with the court system rather than just allowing people to vote for the sake of democracy.
I hate it when Democrats expose themselves.
I mean, it can
that
get a little
is the
weird.
opposite of being engaged and aroused, Jesse. So Katie brings up a good point. This is actually trying to, compromise an election.
So last night was election night for them.
Yeah.
And they lost, Greg. You could see the emotion because they have put all of their eggs in this basket of lawfare. And now they're realizing that the judges at the Supreme Court aren't on their schedule. And so they're realizing that Joe Biden might have to win this himself. That's what you saw last night. Them realizing that this is going to be a free and fair election to a certain extent, where it's going to be mano a mano, and you're not going to have judges and lawyers screwing around with everything. Because they've been trying to persuade a handful of judges instead of 150 million voters. That's what they do. That's why they get so hysterical when you have Supreme Court nominations. That's why they go to mattresses for someone like Kavanaugh. Remember, that's how their agenda happens. It's all in the courts. It's very rarely legislatively. So when you have someone like Trump come in and beat Hillary, those were Hillary's 3 Supreme Court nominations. That would have changed the future of the country. That would have fundamentally transformed America. They don't have that now. And now they're freaking out about it. You saw that judge, traffic court judge, want to give him a fair shake. Earl Warren also wrote parking tickets as a judge. Marshall, John Jay, some of the greatest justices on the Supreme Court used to write speeding tickets for buggies. You actually are believing what I'm saying.
I do.
No, don't believe him.
I know.
Don't.
You just made all that up?
I made it up, Greg.
This is why you're the #1 name in news. And I made that up. Judge, comment on the traffic judge and also on this, the meltdown. What's behind all this?
You know, it's really amazing that a woman who was in traffic court 2 years ago and deciding municipal cases and whether or not the police officer actually gave you the right traffic ticket is over here saying, I'm going to decide on behalf of the people of Illinois that Donald Trump cannot be on the ballot. I mean, these people, I'm so sick of their saying he's a threat to democracy when everything they do is a threat to democracy in preventing the people from engaging in the democratic process, which is voting for the person that they want to be the president. What are they so afraid of? They're afraid of the fact that he's going to win because he's got most of America behind him. They see the polls. They see what's going on. So you got all these crazies at MSNBC saying the Supreme Court is cravingly denying a review of the case. No, are you stupid? They're not being cowardly. They actually are expediting the case. The only thing they wanted was the process. It goes through the D.C. Circuit, and then it goes to the United States Supreme Court. And how dare the Supreme Court wait 2 weeks? Really? The Supreme Court is involved in life and death issues every day, and they should stop everything to decide your political issue? No. And that's the problem with all of this. This is about politics. This is about their getting out there and saying, we don't want him on the ballot. The Supreme Court is going to do what it wants to do, and the process has to work. And the truth is, the Supreme Court makes the decision in June. Judge Chukin or whatever, Chukin gets, she's probably 3 months before they can actually go to trial because of all the motion practice that needs to be done, and they're furious. They want him convicted and out. They hate him so much, I worry about what's going to happen if he does appear on the ballot.
Jessica, I yield the rest of the time to you.
I'm glad the flashing red lights haven't started already, so maybe I have 30 seconds. I love days when you guys think that you're describing Joe Biden, but you're actually describing Donald Trump. So the person who didn't want the American people to be able to speak in 2020 was Donald Trump, and he had his team of crackpot lawyers fan out across the country to bring frivolous lawsuits when there had been recount after recount to make sure that the American public was disenfranchised and that we wouldn't know how Georgia voted and we wouldn't know how Arizona voted. Then he called up people to put pressure on them to find him 11,000 plus votes in Georgia. We know he did it in Michigan. Ronna McDaniel helped him out with that. That is the threat to democracy, and that's what this case is about. And when we talk about this impeachment inquiry, which is obviously a catastrophic disaster for Jim Comer and company, you guys say, well, we need to know if Joe Biden is dirty, right? I don't want to go on November 5th, show up and say, well, is this the guy who's making millions of dollars off of China and Uzbekistan, whatever, pulling diamonds out of his hair, whatever you're going to say?
That's why they shut down the laptop.
Oh, right, the penis pictures that were going to decide America's future.
And all the
The point is, don't we deserve to know if one of the nominees for president is a felon? That's what this case is about. And Jack Smith made a motion to have this expedited so that the American people would get the chance to actually know who they're voting for. And yes, Katie, of course, the fact that over 30% of Republicans say we're not going to vote for a felon matters. But it matters electorally, and it also matters on a moral level. Do you want to vote for a felon?
But why don't we just let the Supreme Court decide on the presidential
the DC
immunity
Court of
question
Appeals,
so that the
they should have
could
done
actually
it
decide
in
as well.
time. The DC Court of Appeals wrote a nearly 60-page opinion that was incredibly detailed. They did take extra time for that, which then no one begrudged them because of the content. And Trump's lawyer actually argued that Joe Biden could order someone from SEAL Team 6 to murder.
We went through that. That was ridiculous.
No, but that's the we don't have to go.
No, we do actually, because you.
Well, fine, but
take a look at that. Take a look at what time it is.
25, 01, 02, 03. But the thing is that I'm not done. So,
Jessica, come on, we got to go.
I consider this a victory of epic proportions, and you may continue.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.